Good morning, students. In our today's class, we will be discussing the modal verbs, modal auxiliaries. Now, let me give you a brief introduction of modal auxiliaries. Modal or modal auxiliaries are the verbs which are used before ordinary verbs to express permission, possibility, ability, obligation, suggestions, request, and so on. They indicate the attitude or intention and the mood of the speaker. Words used as models are shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, be able to, used to, have to, dare, etc. and so on. So these modal verbs used to express permission, possibility, ability, obligations, we can say suggestions, promises, wishes, dares, prohibitions, intentions, necessities, requests and duties. So before moving forward, let me discuss with you the features of the modal verbs. Now, modals are the verbs that help the main verb in expressing the degree of certainty of the action or the attitude or the mood or the point of view of the speaker. Now, modals are dependent verbs. It means they depend on main verbs. They can only be used with main verbs. Second feature is modal can be used for framing question tags and short questions like interrogative questions. Modals are not affected by the change in the person. It means the same model can be used with all type of person. It can be first person, second person or third person. It is not affected by the number. It can be a singular number or can be a plural number. We can use same model with any number of the nouns. Now next feature is it is important that the main verb after the modal must be in its root form. We cannot use other forms of the verb with the modals. Like present participle or past participle form of a verb is never used with a modal verb. Modals do not take inflections. Inflections means second form or third form or use of s or es for the third person as we do in third person. When we have third person as a subject, we change the form of the verb, but with modals we cannot. Now let us discuss the modals and their uses. First we will discuss can. Can indicate ability to do something. Now here can be used to show the ability to do something. The first one is he can speak English. Now here the ability of speaking English is shown with the help of can. Second is to make request in direct or informal way. If you have to make a request in direct or informal way, you can use can you give me a lift. Now here you are making a request, but it is not a direct request, you are making it an informal way. Now third is to state something is possible. That is theoretical possibility. It means on the basis of some proofs or evidences or on the basis of some studies you have come to know that something can happen possibly. Now example, it can be made more better. It means after some studies or after some proofs you have come to know that things can be made more better if we work on it. Now fourth one is to ask permission or give permission. Now we are using modals can and may for asking and giving permissions. Now for example, can I sit here? Here I am asking permission. You can go now. Here I am giving permission. Students, we are using can and may both for asking permission, but though we are using both of them for asking permission, but grammarians don't consider it correct if we use can for permission. Let me give you an example. Let me say, can I leave this room now? Now here it is a question, but if you consider it again theoretically, you will find that I am asking a question to myself, right? I am not asking it to somebody else. Suppose in reply I may be answered like this, I don't know if you can, but you may. So that is the reason why grammarians say or support that the use of may for permission is more correct than can. So the next one is it can be indicate journal and occasional possibility. Journal and occasional possibility. For example, I can go with your mother for shopping. It's an occasional possibility. It means it happens sometimes. For prohibitions or negation of permission, it means when you are not allowed to do something. For example, you can't enter the hall without a hall ticket. Now here you are prohibited from doing something. Now seventh one is to talk about capacity. Now when we have to talk about capacity, we can use can also. Now for example, this bottle can hold 2 liters of milk. Here I am talking about the capacity of the bottle. Now the one note that you have to keep in mind, that can be, it means can with be expresses what a person or a thing occasionally capable of, mostly unpleasant. When we are using can along with be, it means we are talking about something which is unpleasant or which is not very common, or we can say which is not acceptable at all. If I say the temperature can be increased in the coming months. So here it is unpleasant, we don't want the temperature to get increased, but it is a kind of a possibility. So now the next is use of could. First is to indicate very weak possibility. Now here it indicates very weak possibility, it means weaker than might. The baby is crying, it could be injured. So it's very weak possibility that the baby is crying due to, it's just a possibility we are trying to say, that might be he got injured, that's why he is crying. It suggests ability in the past. He could run 2 kilometers at a stretch without a break. Now it is suggesting the ability, but the ability of past, as it is a past form of can. It's not clear whether he ran or not, but he could. Now the third is, it suggests journal ability. It suggests journal ability means, for example, I think I could solve this. It means I know how to solve it, so I think I could solve this. I could in my childhood I could climb trees, so it means I know how to climb trees. Now the fourth one is to make more polite requests. When we have to make more polite requests, when it is uncertain whether our request will be accepted or not, we use could. For example, my father, could you buy a smartphone for me please? Now here I am not sure that my request will be accepted or not, but I am making a request. Now fifth one is, as a past tense of can, I could crawl when I was young. Here I am talking about my past ability. It means maybe I am not able to crawl now. Now sixth one, used in conditionals. As you all know that in conditionals we use could. I could do it if I tried. It means I am talking about past. If I tried, I could do that. It means I have not tried. Seventh is, suggests past permission to do something. He told me I could leave. Again talking about past. Now eighth one, to make suggestions. What shall we do? Now here what could we do? What could we do? It means it is giving you suggestions. Now to make polite request. For example, could you lend me your book for a few days? Here I am again making a polite request with could. We generally not use could, but it can be true if you use. Now the next model is will. Will is used to show willingness, promise, determination with the first person, right? Now here one thing which I would like to make clear, that generally we are using shall with first person, that is I and we, and will with third person, that is he, she, it, or any other name. We use will with third person and shall with I, we, and you and they. In case if we are talking about simple future, but the moment we talk about any kind of promise, any kind of threat, or any kind of determination, in these three cases we have to interchange the use of these models. It means now in the case of promise, in the case of threat, in the case of determination, the modal verb shall will be used with which person? Third person. And in case of promise, threat, and determination, the modal verb will be used with first person, right? Only in this case the sentence will be right. I will give you my notes. Here I am making a permission, I will give you notes, but we are using according to the structure we are using shall with the first person, but it means when I am using will with the first person, it means I am 100% sure that I will give you my notes. If in case I have to say that I am 100% sure that he will help you, in that way, for that sentence my sentence structure will be like this: he shall give you his notes. Now the moment I use shall with he, it means I am 100% sure that he will help you. Now the second is to express pure future. For pure future we are using will with third persons and shall with first and second person. Now next is to indicate characteristics habit. Mom will start scolding me if I remain here any longer. Here I am talking about a characteristic habit of my mother, that she starts scolding me whenever I remain outside for some time. Now next use is for assumptions or probability. I think it will cost a lot of money to buy a flat in Mumbai. Now this is my assumption, this is my belief, this is a probability that the flat in Mumbai cost a lot. Now fifth is to make polite requests and invitations. For polite requests and invitations we use will. Will you pass me salt? Here I am making a polite request, but it really doesn't sound polite. Will you pass me a salt? Now next is to express intentions, decisions and threat. Now here I am expressing my intention, it means my willingness, my decisions and threat. I think I'll have some juice. Now this is what my intention, or you can say my decision for the moment, that I think I'll have some juice. Now to express quantity or capacity. This plane will accommodate 200 passengers. Here I am talking about the capacity. For talking about capacity of anything we can use will, similarly as we can use can. Now in conditionals, I'll take a day off if the weather will be fine next week. It means if the weather will be fine till next week, I'll take a off. It means this is a kind of a condition. The next is commands or a question. Will you be quiet? Now here in the case will you be quiet, I am giving a command to somebody, and here I am little bit, you may say, strict. Will you be quiet? In giving command with will we are little bit strict. Now next is use of would. Would as a polite form of will. Now would is a polite form of will. We can use would, like would you open the window please. Now you can see here also I am giving a command, but this is more politer than will. Now second is habitual past action. For habitual action of the past we generally use would. He would sit for hours watching ships. Now this was his habit. To express a preference or wish. He would rather die than beg. To express a preference, it means it is his preference or his wish that he would rather die than beg. Now next is I wish she would be healthy. Now here I am making a wish for someone. Now fourth is to request, advise, recommend or suggestion. For all these we can use would. For example, would you help me in preparing dinner? Here I am requesting somebody to help me in preparing dinner. Now fifth one is in indirect speech. Father said that he would pay for our trip. Now here in indirect speech we change will into would. Now the sixth one is future in the past. When we talk about future in the past we use would. When I broke my leg, I thought I would never walk again. It was the matter of the past when I was thinking about the future. Now next is use of shall. Now shall is used for an offer of assistance when you are sure of a positive answer. When we are sure of any positive answer we use shall for offer of assistance. For example, shall I help you? Now here in this case I know that I will get answer in positive yes. Now second is a suggestion. Shall we move to the library? Now here again I am giving a suggestion. Shall we move to a library? Now third is for making promises. I shall take care of everything for you. Here I am making promise to somebody that I will take care of everything for her. Now for obligation, you shall as you are told to do. You shall do as you are told to do. Now you shall do, it means here this is an obligation for you. It is compulsory for you that whatever you are doing, you have to do whatever you are being told to do. Now next is for future action. For future actions we use shall. I shall be there on time. Here we are talking about pure future. For pure future we use shall with first person and second person, and for pure future we use will with third person. Now the next is threat or warning. Whenever we need to give threat or warning to somebody, we interchange the models as I have told you earlier. Anyone found guilty shall be punished. Now next is should. Obligation or duty. Now should can be used for obligation and duty. First is you should help your family members at the time of crisis. This is your obligation, this is your duty that you must do. We want you to do, or we expect you to do this thing. Now second is to make suggestions or to give an advice. For example, you should call for a doctor. Now here you should call for a doctor is a kind of a suggestion for you or a kind of a advice for you. Now what is the difference between advice and a suggestion? Advice is something which we must do or which we must follow, and suggestion is something which is on us, on our own will, whether we want to follow it or not. Now the third one is logical deduction. Logical deduction means conclusion, logical conclusion that the weather is clear, so our flight shouldn't be delayed. Now because of conclusion we concluded that the weather is clear, so our flight shouldn't be delayed. In this case we can also use should. Now fourth one is to express probability or expectation. For example, they should be there by now. Here this is the probability or expectation. It means again on the basis of some clues. They should be there by now. Now the fifth one, conditional for the first person. In this case we use lest, L-E-S-T, lest plus the subject and then the should. The sentence framing will be like this: work hard lest you should fail. It means you have been asked to work hard, otherwise you will be fail. So lest is here giving you sense of otherwise. So work hard lest you will be fail. Now these are some practice questions which you have to practice. Now you have to use these models which we have discussed to fill these blanks. I hope this video is useful for you. Thank you.